Hello, hello. Welcome to Newbies to Movies. I'm Tyler.
I'm Justin.
This is a podcast where we like to talk about new movies that we're watching. This week we have a guest, Madison. It's her third time on, but she's also our third wheel to the podcast. Welcome back, Madison.
Hi, thanks for having me again.
And this week's theme is romantic comedy movies or rom-coms. And we wanted to invite her on because she always talks about how she likes rom-coms a lot. And so we thought it'd be fun to do it with her as well. So this week we'll start how we usually do with some shouting out something that we've been watching for the past week or some show or something. Justin, you want to get started?
Yeah, so I really dove into rom-coms this week. I had some time off work, so I watched When Harry Met Sally, Silver Linings Playbook, 500 Days of Summer. Obviously, the two we're watching this week for the podcast, which is The Big Sick and Say Anything, but also Anora and Crazy Stupid Love. And I think my two favorites were probably Anora and When Harry Met Sally. But Silver Linings Playbook was up there as well, for sure.
Awesome. What about you, Madison?
I watched the movies this week for the podcast. I've also been rewatching The Boys so I could prepare for season 5 because we finished Jin B2. And then I was like, I forgot so much. So I'm on like season 3 right now.
Yeah. When does the last season come out? It's like April, right? Or May?
Yeah, it's coming
It's like
up.
soon.
Yeah. I probably got to start rewatching too because I don't remember anything because it was a while ago. I just remember that one lady, like the president, like lady died. I just remember that. Spoiler alert for anybody out there. But what I watched this week, that shout out is The Moment. It just came out this week on like in the theaters, and it's about Charlie XCX, and it's like a mockumentary about like her after her Brat album came out and like her transitioning out of it and like creating a concert for it, like a big old like event for it. And I thought it was interesting and quite like a risk for her career because she's like a huge artist, like one of the biggest artists in the world. And she decided like kind of like make fun of herself, but she's also like, it like kind of transitioned into like, that's not all she's about. She's also like becoming a big actress now, which I think is also really cool because she's been in a bunch of movies. She's also like the new movie Wuthering Heights. The album's going to be based around that film. So I think that's going to be really cool as well.
Yeah, that should be pretty cool.
Awesome. So this week's movies are going to be around romantic comedy like theme. What is your opinion on romantic comedy movies, Justin, if you want to get started?
Yeah, honestly, coming into this week, I haven't seen that many. I kind of had like a preconceived notion about these movies just being pretty basic, not a whole lot of depth to them, besides a select few that I have seen. And I was kind of glad I got to really expand myself into this genre just because that way I can kind of see all kind of the corners of it. Me and you kind of talked about it before the show, just the very different ways you can go about romantic comedies. You get into dramedies a little bit. And I thought it was really interesting to see how different directors went about telling different love stories in very different ways sometimes. It was pretty cool.
Yeah, it'll be interesting because we're going to do a draft at the end of this podcast and how we're going to format it, like what counts, what doesn't count, because sometimes people do it way different. There's some like very comedy based ones that have like romantic elements to it. And then there's some that very like dramedies that like have very few comedies, but also romantic. So we'll get into that towards the draft of like what counts and what doesn't. But I think it is really interesting. What about you, Madison? What do you think?
So I watch a lot of rom-coms. I've watched like the classics, the ones that came in the early 2000s. I've watched a lot of the newer ones. I just think they're fun because you just get like love and you get like the comic relief and then you have the tension and the conflict. And I just think there's all around parts of rom-coms I like. I also read a lot of them and then I like to see them become adaptations of movies and things like that. But overall, I just really enjoy like watching them and seeing how different types of love happen and different stories and things like that.
Yeah. No, I think a good thing about rom-coms too is it's like super easy to watch. Like you don't have to like think too hard while watching these kind of movies. And I think that's why they're so attractive to like a lot of people and why they're such a favorite category for a lot of people. Because I talked to people at work and they like half the people at work were like, yeah, that's my favorite like genre just because it's like so easy to watch. You can watch like with your significant other and all that kind of stuff.
Actually, Justin and I were talking about that. I was like, rom-coms aren't like these like crazy award-winning movies. They're just really for like entertainment. And I think that's why people do again like them so much because they are entertaining. And there's so many different stories and characters and how you can do it. So I think that's also very appealing because it's just an entertaining genre.
Yeah, I agree. Awesome. So the movies we did this week were Say Anything, kind of a classic 90s one. And then The Big Sick, which came out in like during kind of COVID era. I think it was right before COVID, but kind of a different twist, I think, on rom-com number one. But we'll start with Say Anything. So Say Anything is like a classic one where it's known for the boombox scene where he's like right outside the window with the boombox, which for some reason, like before coming into the movie, I thought that was the end of the movie. But it's like kind of like that climax of the movie is like that scene. But it follows this character, the main character, Lloyd, as he's like kind of just like falling head over heels for the other main character, Diane, and pretty much doing whatever he whatever he can to end up with her. Really just being like a great guy, and pretty much his whole main character side is like, I'm in love with you, and like, I'm going to do whatever to be with you. Yeah, I feel like that's like his main character part, but it also just goes like, also dives into like a protective father over her, being like, oh no, like he doesn't have any like big goals in his life. Like you don't belong with a guy like that. And then like, well, he's just avoiding taxes and stuff like that and gets arrested. But what did you guys think of this movie from the quick glance?
Yeah, I thought this movie was pretty good. It was fun. The main character, I'm losing his name right now, but he really reminded me of that Ferris Bueller type character in the 90s.
Yeah.
And yeah, I definitely got that out of him. I think his name was, I forgot his name.
Lloyd.
But besides the point, it was fun. Yeah, Lloyd. Lloyd was a pretty fun character. The whole high school scene, coming of age kind of story. It was fun to watch.
Mm-hmm.
I really enjoyed the film. I thought it was definitely one of those like classic rom-coms we see them kind of first interact for the first time, and it's like, I don't know about this, and then we see like their story grow and develop and things like that. I think this one was, a good rom-com.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and it has John Cusack, which like is kind of known for rom-coms, especially in the 80s and 90s, just kind of like being like the guy, like one of the guys for it. And just that classic case of like somebody like opposites kind of attract kind of situation where he's like an average student while she's like the valedictorian, and like she gives a speech and he's like, oh, I'm going to make that woman my wife. He pretty much decides right then and there, he's like, yep, I want her. And then he pretty much does anything he can to like be with her. And she's kind of like just surprised by all that he's willing to do to be with her. But like she's kind of like, heck yeah. So I give the plot an 8 out of 10 because I thought it was like a very normal rom-com plot. You can see where a lot of these tropes are taken into like these other movies later in the 90s, as well as like the 2000s. Cameron Crowe is the director, and you can kind of see like what he did was kind of taken out of it, especially like high school kind of rom-com situations.
Yeah, I think overall the plot did a pretty good job. I wasn't a fan of the ending. I don't know. It just kind of felt unresolved to me compared to a lot of the other rom-coms I watched this week. I mean, they literally just got on a plane and flew away from everything. So maybe that was it for me. But I don't know. What you guys think?
I liked the story. I thought it was like the plot was good. I mean, you kind of had your typical plot of a rom-com where they meet, they fall in love. There's a little bit of a falling out, and they kind of find their way back to each other. And I think the ending wasn't hateful. It kind of, because it ends on like a happy note. Like, she's going to her fellowship and he's going with her, and you see at the end like he's trying to like help her rekindle her relationship with her dad after everything happened.
Yeah, I get what you're saying, but it's kind of like led up to like where she has like a big future for her life, while he's like, I mean, I could probably get a job really anywhere because like I'm not anything special, while like you should go after your career, and like I'm gonna kind of support you kind of situation. That's kind of what it's leading up to. Like, I feel like the whole movie, because he's like, I mean, I'm just a kickboxer. It's the future of the world. I thought that was like one of the funniest quotes from it. It's kind of like his character trope. I thought the dad situation was like funny too, to where like he's just avoiding taxes like the whole movie, and then gets arrested. And then he's just like, I don't know. It's like, what can you get out of this movie? Like, if you get arrested, like a kickboxer is going to take your daughter. But yeah. Getting into characters, I gave it 9 out of 10 because, again, like that Lloyd character gives, again, like Ferris Bueller vibes. Like, I think that you kind of hit it right on the nail with that, Justin, where very like typical 80s, 90s kind of main character guy.
Yeah, I liked his character. He was really funny, and I think some of the line delivery, like you were talking about with the kickboxing one, I forgot the exact quote, but the line when they were at dinner at her house with her dad, her dad's accountant, a bunch of those people. That was just so funny listening to him talk. So obviously like a fresh mind in this new world, and you have like grown adults trying to understand what he's talking about is hilarious.
Yeah.
I really liked her character because like she talks about how like when she went to the graduation party for like the first time, she's like, I didn't really know these people, but like I know them now. And then like she kind of like was like building these relationships with the people, and you kind of almost like see her come out of her shell like when their relationship develops more, and she's like doing more things and this and that. I liked that about her character.
Mm-hmm.
And like
Like
she like never gave up on her dad. Like she was like, no, like this isn't real. And then she talked to the one guy and she was like, oh no, like something's very wrong.
Yeah, he just should have lied to her. I thought it was also interesting, like, before the party, she was like, oh, is it okay if we leave early? And then she ends up staying until, like, the morning of, because she just, like, notices that, like, she missed, like, a whole part of her, like, kind of high school, like, life. And, again, like, a very typical trope that you see where, like, she's kind of letting herself go after, like, graduating, after being valedictorian and really working really hard while in high school, but then, like, notices, like, there's bigger things to life than just school. Photography, I gave a 7 out of 10. I thought it was like, just a typical, nothing crazy special. Thought there were some like cool scenes. And then of course, like, the boombox scene is just like so iconic. It's just, that's what the movie is really known for. I mean, it's right on the poster for it for a reason. You guys have any takes from it?
Yeah, I mean, nothing super special. I thought everything looked good. You could definitely tell it was like early 90s film. A lot of the household sets, especially being in high school. I thought the party scene was pretty cool. Just a lot of people everywhere in really tiny areas. It was pretty cool to see.
I don't have much to add. It's just, your basic movie.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. The dialogue, I gave it 9 out of 10 because I think Lloyd was just like a really funny dude, honestly. And like what they wrote for him was just kind of a little bit quotable, but he's like, I don't want to sell anything, buy anything, or process anything as a career. I don't want to sell anything, bought, or process, or buy anything sold or process anything sold. He's just like talking into circles around him. But as a career, I don't want to do that. And it's like, okay. It's like, all right, word, man. Like,
no, he was definitely that character that like was actually very smart. I wouldn't say as smart as her, but up there in like worldview, I guess you'd say, but he just didn't really know how to apply himself as much. And I think that's why they ended up getting along so well in the end.
I didn't think that anything crazy about the dialogue. There was definitely, like Tyler was saying, there's like the parts where there was like, the little bit of comedy and this and that. And I liked their conversations, especially the one scene where they were like kind of in the car and she was like very upset and he was like, oh, and people go to the gas station scene. It's like they end up there kind of thing. But nothing else really.
Yeah, I think he should definitely be a car salesman because I think he could talk anybody like through anything because he's just a yapper. And then she also just isn't that big of a talker. So I thought that was also like interesting to see like that kind of relationship. The acting, I gave a 7 out of 10. I thought like the 3 bigger characters in the movie were like the dad and then like the couple. And I thought those 3 were really well done. And then every other side character was like nothing special and like kind of just, background characters that some of them like try to overact. And then you're like, no wonder why I haven't seen them ever again.
Dude, that emo chick was so bad. It was like laughable.
Yeah.
Just like her whole character too. Like, why would you sign on to this? You're just sitting there whining the whole movie. Nobody cares about you.
Yeah.
But she wrote like 60-something songs about the boy. I was like, that's a lot of songs. She's just sitting there singing them for everybody at that party. I'm like, okay, girl, go home.
And then wasn't one of the side characters at the gas station, like one of the guys, like hating on him for like being with a girl from Entourage? Like, am I tripping? Or one of those guys looked super familiar, but
well, I know the one guy that was like the boyfriend that cheated on his friend who she was writing all the songs about. His name was Tim or something. He was there at the gas station.
Yeah, that cracked me up, that scene too, because they're like crapping on him, and he's like, well, I haven't seen you guys with any girls, and then they're like, well, that's my choice. And I was like, nah, that's like such a typical like high school like thing to say. The sound effects or like soundtrack, I think this was like a big standout for me in the film. Very iconic songs, like really good like background songs to it, and then like the volume would turn up in between like transitioning scenes as well. That I thought was like very like well done. What do you think, Justin? Because I think I saw like your review, you really liked it as well.
Yeah, the music was great. I always, when me and Mad watch movies and it's like my kind of music like that, like these 90s music, I always like stop the movie and I tell her like, hey, who is that? This is your test. She got most of them. But it was really great. It was really great. I love the music in this.
Yeah, the music was fun. It was good. I liked the whole boombox scene with that music. Like that was fun because you could hear it like getting louder. I really liked that part. And yes, he does like to pause the movie and ask me about the songs. And then if I don't know the song, he will play the song for me on Apple Music.
It's like a big scene just happened and he just pauses. He's like, all right, what song was that? And it's like, what do you mean what song was that? I was listening to them.
That's exactly how it goes.
There was like an Aerosmith song recently.
I think that was in, it was Dream On, but I don't remember what it was in. But yeah, she got it.
Sounds like you guys watched a lot of rom-com movies.
Yeah.
So set design, I gave a 6 out of 10. Again, like nothing like crazy special for me. I don't know. There wasn't anything to take away from this where I was like, yeah, you know what? Like that set design was like crazy cool. It was just like a normal like 80s, 90s like set design to me. Probably used in like a lot of other movies.
Yeah, it just looked like that 80s suburb. Everything looked kind of like that, old furniture, that 80s style of furniture in China for dinnerware. It was good.
Yeah, nothing to add there. Sorry.
Yeah. The school looked exactly like from Heathers. I don't know if you guys have seen Heathers at all, but the high school looked almost eye to eye like the same high school to me. I don't know, but I was like, that looks like they use the same set. Directing, I gave it 8 out of 10. I thought it was really well directed. Cameron Crowe, we've done him before when he did Jerry or not Almost Famous. So I thought it was really interesting to see like this kind of movie compared to Almost Famous. And you could see where his directing style is very similar in both movies. What do you guys think?
I agree. Almost Famous is one of my favorites of all time. So I was interested to see this coming into it. Definitely older, like the cameras feel older, the, kind of grain in the camera itself, but definitely a similar directing style, especially, a lot of cross-cutting between characters, which was pretty cool. Obviously, Almost Famous has like 20x more like main characters, but yeah, I do see what you're saying with the same kind of directing style.
Mm-hmm.
I don't really have much to add there. I mean, I thought it was shot well.
Yeah.
For its time.
Yeah. I think Jerry Maguire, he also directed, which I think I could see very similar things in between that movie as well. It makes me want to go like, he didn't direct Fast Times at Ridgemont High, but he wrote for it. And then that's like kind of where he started it all off at. Editing, I gave it 8 out of 10. Again, I think like nothing crazy special, but still well done enough to where I don't think it takes away from the film itself. And there's no like lull points, I guess, to where I would take out anything until like, again, I thought the end of the movie would be the boombox scene. And then they just kind of like ride off into the sunset. But instead it was like she was scared on the plane. And then like I got like a Final Destination vibes from it to where I thought like they were about to like die on a plane. And I was like, wait a second, what's about to happen to me? But no, that didn't happen.
No, yeah, I felt what you were saying, but obviously that was to show her being comfortable with him, getting through her previous trauma of planes and everything like that.
Awesome. And then for theme, I gave it 8 out of 10, just because this is a very normal rom-com film to where it's like opposites attract. And then like they have to fight through something, and this being the dad, that's also like a kind of typical rom-com or like romantic movie trope where they have the dad is overprotective or some family member is, and then they kind of have to work through it to end up with each other. I don't think there's any much deeper themes to take from this other than really that.
I think I got a couple things here, just like radical honesty with her and her dad. I mean, she straight up told him like, yeah, I slept with him like the day after. I was like, oh my God. And then just overall, like kind of the messy transition into adulthood, you can kind of see with all the different characters that were in it, just kind of how one-sided everything can be. You either like fully know what you're going to do and you're going for it coming out of high school, or like Lloyd have no idea what you're going to do, kind of like an anarchist against the world and everything that it's about, and just loves kickboxing.
Really, really loves kickboxing.
Mad, what'd you get out of it?
Sorry, it's a little bit loud.
You're all good.
I mean, overall, I thought it was a good movie. There wasn't, just thought it was a typical rom-com.
Yeah. I think that like, and then also pay your taxes and like don't try to hide it.
Yeah.
I thought that was like such an interesting side plot to the movie as well. Dude was just not paying his taxes and just ends up in jail. And then she's like, I'm going to England. See ya, Dad. And he's just like, oh, okay, I'll be here. I got nowhere to go. But yeah, awesome. So overall, I give it a 7.9 out of 10 or 79 out of 100. Overall, I enjoyed it for sure. There's like little minor things that I kind of had an issue with. And then also like for me, maybe it was just, again, watching a lot of rom-coms, but I feel like it was more on the boring side compared to like a lot of some other ones that had me more engaged with it. So minor things to hit against from it. So.
Yeah, I gave it a 7.2 out of 10. I kind of mentioned the ending I just felt like was kind of unresolved for me. But besides that, I thought it was a fun movie. A lot of iconic scenes and dialogue was really great, especially the comedy side of it.
I gave it an 8.4 out of 10. I really enjoyed it. I like a lot of rom-coms, so my score might be a bit high, but I thought it was a cute movie in the end,
Mm-hmm. It's a very iconic one. It's rated really high too. Like it was like, I think it's like 98% on Rotten Tomatoes, which I was kind of shocked when I saw that. Awesome. So Justin, you could take over for The Big Sick.
Yeah. So we watched The Big Sick this week. It follows comedian Kumali Nanjiani. He, I guess from what I'm understanding, is this was kind of a story about what happened to him in his early career, if I got that right.
Yeah, it's like him and his wife, how they like met, and pretty much like all true story. Like everything is like
Yeah. So that was pretty interesting to see as he's playing himself. So he is kind of, just his story. He's playing a young comic who meets an American graduate student named Emily at, one of his stand-up shows. As their relationship kind of grows, he becomes worried that, his traditional Muslim background will kind of interfere with his love for her and what his parents will think of her. And then when she suddenly becomes ill after kind of breaking up in like a weird, messy phase of their relationship, he's kind of the only one there for her. And then her parents come and he was like hanging out with them, but they know what happened. So it's kind of rough at first. They don't really like him because they know that he kept all that from her, but it's about more their relationship with him. And then they kind of get back together once she is healthy at the end. And I gave it an 8 overall.
Yeah, I thought this was like really cool story overall because one, based off a true story, and then like he wrote the script for it about his own life. And like that's very revealing, especially like all these personal details about his life. And then it's also interesting to see like the conflict with family about like how they really are trying to set him up and like arranged marriage and all that kind of situation. But he doesn't even like really practice that religion. He doesn't really want to. And then like also they want him to be a doctor and he's like, I don't really want to do that either. Like I just want to be a comedian. So it's like conflict with family, but then also like the other family's like going through like a big sickness in their life. And like half the movie, like she's like in a coma and while he's like and he like falls in love with her through her family, which I thought was like really interesting as well.
Yeah, it was kind of heartbreaking to see when she comes out of the coma. Like she wants nothing to do with him, but we've been with him on this journey of, watching him fall in love even deeper with her than he already was. And she wasn't there for it, It was a tough thing to see. What do you think about the plot, Mad?
I thought it was a good movie. Overall, like I think the story was good, especially like you saying it was a true story. So it was kind of nice not nice, but like it was cool to see like how his relationship played out with his wife. And the part like where got me is like when he came to like the party and he was like, "Oh, here is everything I've done for you while you've been asleep. Like I'm a changed guy. I burned all these ashes." Like that kind of like felt weird to me because like, okay, you did this, but I don't remember this, so it's not fair to throw this all on me. So like I get where she was coming from in that moment because like I wasn't there. I don't know what was going on. I was asleep in a coma. So I felt like it was kind of like that part. But I did really like the story of like with her parents and him, how it like developed. I thought that was really nice to see because at first like the mom wants nothing to do with him. And then in the end like she's kind of the reason they like fall back in love.
Yeah, I thought like the parents really needed him as much as like he needed them like for their relationship to end up like working out. But you can see like his parents are really relying on him for like not just comedic, but like to really like reveal themselves too. Because like she reveals stuff to him, and then the dad definitely reveals too much to him. I thought this was like a really good role for Ray Romano. Like I feel like I haven't really seen him in anything other than, of course, Everyone Loves Raymond, and I barely even watched that show. And then like he was hilarious in this, and I was like, oh, like I get why he's like a stand-up comedian and all that. Like he's just like that awkward funny.
Yeah. Getting into characters, I gave it an 8. Kind of getting into that, I thought her parents were hilarious.
Yeah.
But honestly, same with his family. Like, I thought they were hilarious, and the interactions with them were so funny, especially him being a comedian and them just being like normal people. Every time he would, try to bring up jokes or anything, it just got really awkward. And it was an awkward comedy that really like brought this movie together. Same thing with his roommate. I thought his roommate was so funny. It was so well written. And then obviously you had him as the main character, and then Zoe Kazan playing Emily. Their chemistry was really good in the beginning too. It felt really real. It didn't feel like anything was forced. It just felt like they were two people who really got along really well.
I liked their characters. I thought they were played well. On the note of their spark, I don't necessarily see that like I felt their chemistry as characters on the screen. I mean, I think it's too hard because like a lot of the movie, we don't see them together, where in your typical rom-com, you see so much of them actually spending time together. So I think maybe that's where I fall off on that. But I liked all the characters and his family. The one scene where they were sitting in the living room, like waiting for him, like calling him, and they're like, "Oh, he'll come any minute," and they're like trying to like play it off like he's coming. And then I liked her mom a lot, especially when they were like at his show and like she was trying to like stand up for him, and then they were like, attacking each other, but like he was on stage like trying to play it off, and she was like, "No, like I'm not letting this go." But
Yeah.
I could also see where she was coming from, because she was handling so much, and that's just like how in that moment she expressed it.
Yeah. I think Camille is like a very like reserved guy, and like you kind of see it the whole movie. He doesn't let any of his emotions like really let loose at all. They get in like a fight, and even during that, like he kind of just like explains to her like the situation and doesn't let his emotions out up until like he like she may die. Like, and then like at the comedian show, he like lets the emotions loose, and like that's like the part of the film that kind of got me, because like you don't see any emotions, and then like he kind of like lets it loose in front of like the whole scene. And like in front of a bunch of people, and I thought that was really well done by him, just because I think from coming from a background like that, especially a Pakistani family, they are kind of taught not to let their emotions let through. I thought that was really interesting as well.
Yeah, that, and especially the scene in front of his parents when he kind of just opens up to them and tells them all his truths basically that he's been keeping from them. That was a tough one to watch as well. But I thought his and Zoe's chemistry was so good, especially kind of getting what Mad was at. It was like the first 45 minutes. For a little bit there in the middle, I was kind of like, all right, where's this going? Like they've just been like sitting together forever, and then all of a sudden, then that's when he gets the call that she gets in a coma. But it felt like the beginning dragged a little bit to me, but maybe that was just me.
No, I could definitely see that, because it just, you don't see it like like why are they making a movie out of this, like kind of thing.
Yeah.
Or like, and then they like break up, and you're like, okay, maybe like they have to like fight through it. Obviously, like the movie's called The Big Sick, so like you kind of see something coming.
Yeah. And then getting into cinematography, I gave it a 7. Pretty basic, nothing special. The lighting was really well used, and same with camera work. I thought was pretty good.
Yeah, I agree. Nothing like crazy to take away from it, other than it looks good, and it doesn't take away from the film like being bad.
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree. I especially like the scenes when they're at like the comedy shows, like because it's a lot darker, like and then it's like when you see them on stage, it's like a lot brighter, and then even like in the rooms, it's like a darker setting, just compared to like when they're like out.
And then getting into dialogue, I gave it an 8. I thought the comedy in this was hilarious. Kind of I guess that kind of comedy is my favorite. I just like that awkward, funny comedy. My favorite part was when they're sitting at the lunch table in the hospital, and Terry asked him about 9/11.
Yeah.
And he said, Kamali said, "You've never talked to people about 9/11?" He said, "No, what's your stance?" Kamali said, anti, it was a tragedy. We lost 19 of our best guys that day. That was hilarious to me. I thought just the comedy throughout the whole movie. I originally have seen some of his stand up. I didn't think it was that funny before, but after watching this and just seeing that kind of awkward instant comedy was pretty great to me. And he really surprised me in that sense.
Yeah. Yeah. The awkward comedy was awesome in this. Also, like Ray Romano, like just constantly being that awkward funny as well. Like they're like, he spends the night at his place and he's just like, yeah, I slept with someone else. And then he's like, oh God. He's like, okay. It's like, you didn't need to tell me that. Yeah.
Anything to add, Mad?
No, I thought it was good. Although I do feel like there were some points, like when it was like needed to be serious, and then they were like trying to like add in like comedy, like and add jokes into it. When I was like, okay, I don't think this is like the moment. Like I feel like in that like there needed to be serious moments rather than trying to be serious and then add like a little bit of like comedy, especially when they were like at the hospital and then the whole thing about like transferring her and all that. Like I feel like
Yeah.
there were certain situations that just like needed to stay serious for the point and not just always have a joke kind of there.
I think I agree, but the thing to that is that he's a comedian, and so that's I think what he was trying to get at is that that's what he does, and so everything he always tries to make jokes out of, especially like when they were kind of at the apartment after Beth threw that big fit, he was like instantly making jokes about how she threw a big fit at his comedy show. And obviously it was still like very fresh, but I think that's what he was trying to kind of show is like as a comedian, everything is like you're just constantly coming up with stuff on the fly all the time. And so that's why a lot of those scenes kind of got comedy thrown in, even though it felt like it should be serious.
Yeah. Like he himself, especially because this movie is based around him, I feel like he's one of those people where he makes light of stuff, and like his comedy sometimes is like his way through like traumatic events, because it's just everybody reacts differently to stuff and like awkward situations, and for him it's to make a joke, to make light of it, even though like he even like notices like at certain points that he should not be making a joke out of it. He's like, well, bad joke. Like I feel like he says bad joke like more than 5 times in this film, where he's just like,
Yeah.
not the right time, my bad.
No, I definitely agree with you there about like they all kind of grieve differently because we saw how her mom was grieving, like how her dad was kind of like. And I see like that point of he was just trying to make like he was trying to grieve and process things, and using comedy was kind of his help to get through everything.
Yeah, because like, he loved her, but like they also like met each other not long ago, and like he's also trying to work through like, is this the love of my life? Like, is it my family struggling? And like he's just working through a lot, all through like this small time.
And then getting into set design, I don't think there's a whole lot to talk about here. I gave it a 7. Looked like Chicago, felt like Chicago, big city kind of vibes. It was good.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I agree. The comedy scenes were really cool, like the stand up parts. I thought that was really unique as well.
Mm-hmm.
Also, like the fact that they use like real comedians, like Bo Burnham, and then the other two, I don't know their names at the top of my head, but they're just also like I've seen them in other things. I've also seen them do stand up shows, so I thought that was pretty cool.
And then getting into acting, like I kind of said earlier, I thought the chemistry between Kamali and Zoe was actually great, even to the point I asked Mad to look her up because I thought they might actually be his wife, but that's actually Paul Dano's wife. Little fun fact we found out. Yeah, and I just thought their connection felt really real and wasn't corny, just real people discussing, real things. And I thought both people's parents were really great and really comedic as well. I thought it was especially funny, just the setup of Kamali's mom. She just walked to the door every time. She'd be like, look who is in the neighborhood.
Yeah, that was funny. Look who's in the neighborhood. And then just like, and then the one with like the family. I was like, all right.
Yeah. She was trying to basically like set him up with all these different Pakistani women. And every time she'd walk to the door and just be like, look who was on the corner. What do you think about the acting, Matt?
I thought it was good. I guess there was definitely moments where I could see like their chemistry, but like overall, like I don't know if it was like something just felt off for me about it. And I know this like his real life and his real story, but I guess between like the actors, like there's just something I like disconnected with it somehow. I'm not entirely sure. Just like I didn't necessarily like feel it, I guess. And like where that's like the other movies, I was like, oh okay, like I can see how they're growing. Like, and maybe it has to do with, them not having a big chunk of their scenes together. It's because, she's in a coma.
Well, I think we're supposed to kind of be put into his shoes too, right? He was still there living through the events of his own growth, but she was not there, right? So that's their disconnect. And I think the idea is to make us feel that way. So when she wakes up, you're happy for him, but then you realize like, oh yeah, she didn't see any of this. She doesn't know what's going on. She doesn't know how he's growing as a person.
Yeah, and I think that's where, like, I think towards the end, like, I think he also needed to maybe understand that a little bit. Because, yeah, he was growing, but she didn't see any of that. And that's why, like, when the whole party thing, I'm like, I have to, give it a little bit time because you're changing and growing, and she
I
hasn't
mean,
seen
he
any
did.
of it.
He let her
No,
go.
I
Yeah.
know that, and I'm not saying that, but I think, like, he was trying to, like, immediately, like, kind of, like, jump back into it, like, oh, like, I'm gonna woo her in this sense, and then, like, I don't think he was expecting the initial reaction, like, after, like, he went to the party. It kind of felt like,
Yeah. But then he does, and then does let her go. And then like she shows up at his comedian show. Like she makes a move because he doesn't want to he's like, all right, I made enough. I made it apparent like how I feel. Like it is what it is, you know? And then he
yeah.
like keeps doing his show. And then like she shows up at the end. And then that's like, I'm guessing from there, it's just,
I did like that because, like, how the ending was kind of the same as the beginning of, like, she yelled, like, it's like the woohoo thing. And,
Mhm.
like, he did, like, the bit where he's like, that's actually not how that works. I liked that, like, parallel from the beginning and the end. It was really cool to see that.
Yeah, I did like that as well.
And then getting into directing, I gave it a 7. Michael Showalter was the director's name. I think he did a good job of making conversations real. I didn't feel like anything was really forced in the movie, and I thought it was a pretty good pacing. Besides, like I said earlier in the beginning, I felt like it was dragging a little bit, but I think just trying to make up for the lost time that he knows is coming, right? So he's trying to make us feel that connection with them. And then obviously she's going to be out of the movie for a good 45 minutes to an hour. So you're really trying to build up that connection quick and then get through that.
Yeah, I really like it. I gave the directing like a 9, but I feel like it's carried a lot by the screenplay and by the writing of it, which is written by Camille. And then it was a really cool nomination for like best original screenplay for this movie. That I thought was like really unique because you don't really see like a movie just get that. Usually it gets like some other categories, but that's all it was nominated for. And I think that's for a reason because of how real it felt and like authentic and very like revealing about like something that you don't really see revealing about like someone's actual life.
And soundtrack, I gave it a 6. I thought it was fine. Nothing in particular stood out. It used music to convey some of the bigger plot points, but besides that, it was okay.
Yeah, same here. I gave it like a 6 just because nothing crazy special.
For themes, I gave it an 8. I thought the themes were really well done in this movie, especially just throughout all the different family dynamics that we see. Obviously, intercultural relationships and just love as a vulnerability in general, right? With Ray and Beth, but also Kamali and Zoe, and then obviously Kamali with his family, and then just kind of the complexity of forgiveness and kind of how to navigate that. And then obviously finding humor in tragedy is a big one as well.
Yeah, I think you hit it right on the spot with all the themes. I gave it a 10 out of 10 because I think this is very unique for a rom-com to like be that many like multi different themes that they're trying to hit on in a movie.
Yeah, I will say I did like the themes and like throughout the movie and with his family and himself and trying to find himself and then the love and all that. I did like the themes in this one.
And then for editing, I gave it a 7. I thought it focused on translating just, real life experiences really well. Nothing too crazy. And just the emotional moments were done really well. I didn't feel like anything was too tight with the camera work or anything like that. So I gave it a 7. I thought it was good.
Yeah, I agree. Nothing crazy to take away from it, but it's just really well done as well. I don't think there was many, I guess, at the beginning of the film, it's kind of low points, but like it needs to have that exposition for you to like kind of care about like their relationship and like kind of see that chemistry. Because without it, like, why would you even care that he's like really fighting for it, and like you wouldn't really understand. So even though it feels kind of like it's low, I feel like it's very much needed at the beginning of the movie.
Yeah, I mean, it's a hard task to do. I mean, all things considered, you're trying to make a romantic comedy movie where one of the partners is gone for 45 minutes to an hour in the middle of the movie. I mean, that's
Hmm.
a tough ask, and I think it was done really well. So overall, I gave it a 7.5/75.
Awesome. Yeah, I gave it 8.4 out of 100 or 84 or 8.4 out of 10. I really enjoyed it. This is probably one of my favorites. That's why I recommended it. Just because, again, like the different themes in this movie, I think are very unique for rom-coms, and like the awkward comedy just really hits for me.
I gave an overall score of 7.2 out of 10. I mean, I'm not gonna. It was a good movie, and I liked the themes and I liked the story, but maybe because I feel like it was like lacking a little bit of romance for me, and maybe because I've seen so many rom-coms and I read so many like romance novels. I guess like maybe that's where the disconnect was coming from. It was maybe lacking in the romance a little bit, but it was a good film, and I think it was overall really well put together.
Yeah,
Yeah, I mean, I think mainly it's just because she almost died, but
yeah, 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 yeah. I mean, yeah, it's definitely not like
No,
a typical rom-com where
I'm not
like, yeah,
knocking that. I'm not knocking that. I just
no, I see what you're saying. It's a hard kind of task to do, especially leaving somebody out of a movie that is such a integral part to it. You really got to build up that beginning, and you really got to finish hard on that end. So yeah.
it kind of felt more to me like a comedy with like sprinkles of here and there of romance. But it was a good movie. I liked it. I thought it was a good movie.
So would you say it was like a com rom?
Yes.
Okay.
I think that's like a perfect transition into like our rom-com draft, because me and Justin been talking about it like for the last couple of days, like what counts as a rom-com? Like what are we going to count? And I feel like it's just a basis of like a majority rules kind of thing. Like we're going to, like if we pick a movie and then we're all like have to be like, all right, does this count? Does IMDb back it up? Does the genre like itself back it up? But then also like, does it actually count? Like kind of thing. Because I feel like each movie could be swayed one way or another of like whether or not it's more of one thing or the, but awesome. So the rom-com draft that we're going to be doing. So I'll say the categories first, and then we'll like draft what like, and it's going to be a normal steak style or snake style like draft. So it's going to be Oscar nominated, opposites attract. So a situation of like two different types of personalities that usually wouldn't be with each other, end up falling in love. Love triangle. So like three or more people involved in like trying to fight for like a person, or like just many different complicated relationships all trying to fuse into like different ones. Ensemble cast, because rom-coms, some of them are kind of known for like huge casts. Enemies to lovers, so like where they kind of hate each other, and then they kind of turn into lovers. Meet cute, which is just they meet at like a very unique situation. Again, this is going to be, I think this is more like a personal based of like when you pick it, it's like, oh, this is what I think. I'm not really going to take it away from anybody. If it's like not, I don't think it's unique, because I think it's just like personal basis of what you think is unique. And then of course, wild card. Awesome. Like this is a very unique draft compared to a lot of different ones, because it's like very specific like categories. Cool. Do the wheel names. I don't think there's a solid one of one pick, me personally.
Lies.
I don't think there's like, maybe for each person. All right, Madison, you get to go first.
I do?
Yeah, you get to go
Thank
first.
God. I don't want to go
And then-
first.
Then we'll see who goes. Well, you already know what you would take first. I think we both know what you're going to take first.
Yeah, but I think it'll fall to 3, leaving me with the better second round pick.
I kind of want to just take it just to spite you, because I'm going
Do it.
second.
Do it. I'll ban it. I will vote it out.
You voted out. All right. Or like me and Madison just group together and just be like, oh, yeah, that doesn't count.
Yes.
You could do it, but I'm just going to start taking stuff out of left field. We'll be here all day. Because I have very few movies that I can even pick. So I
know
gotta
what?
get
You know
on
what counts?
this.
Star Wars. You know what?
Yes. Romantic comedy in space.
Yeah. Spaceballs. You know what? Awesome. Madison, you get to go first. We can touch on it when Justin gets to it.
Because this category was kind of smaller for me, I'm going to start off with Oscar nominations, and I'm going to go with The Silver Lining Playbook.
Yeah, that was definitely up there for me.
Interesting.
I'll talk about the movie a little bit.
We watched it last night. I thought it was really good. I really liked, was it Bradley Cooper and Jennifer Lawrence in this? We kind of both see them struggling at different points with like their mental health and things like that. And he's like trying to get his life back together after getting out of the hospital, and I just really liked the story. I thought it was a really good movie that we watched.
Yeah, I think it's really. I was looking at the categories to take it into, and I really only had it under Oscar nom because I was like, are they enemies to lovers? Like, they kind of don't like each other at the beginning, but like not really. And then it's like
Yeah.
maybe a meet cute, but then it's also like, I don't know, crazy cat. And then I was also like ensemble cast maybe because like the cast is really good in this as well. Like Robert De Niro's like the dad who's just like really into bets, and he's like, you know what, go Eagles go. And I'm like, you know what, that's a Philly family if I've ever seen it. I feel like every other Philly family is exactly like this movie. Awesome. So for my first pick, I guess I'll just go into Oscar nom as well, and I'll do When Harry Met Sally. I think this is a easy number one overall for me because this is my favorite one. I think there's so much taken away from this movie for every other rom-com. It's so obvious, and then it's just so well done. Billy Crystal. I think the difference between like what movies try to steal from this is that Billy Crystal is just like that good in this movie. I think he has so many like iconic scenes, and yeah, I think their chemistry is just crazy in this movie too. And Meg Ryan is like the rom-com girl of the 90s. Like she's in so many for good reason because she's awesome. Awesome. All right, Justin, go ahead.
All right. I got to take it. And if you guys want to vote it out, that's fine. But I'm going to stand my ground here, and I'm going to take Opposites Attract, and I'm going to take La La Land.
No, thought we talked about this. It's like a musical. That's more of a drama. There's not really much comedy in it.
There
is
so much comedy in it.
But
you
if
get
you
Ryan Gosling on a stage playing a piano guitar.
But if you look it up, there's nowhere mentions comedy. It's just all like a drama, romance, musical.
I think it's the funniest movie of all time.
Wait, I get a pick in this as well because it should be majority rules. So I feel like that's the only way that we're actually doing this. And then Wikipedia literally says musical, romantic, comedy, drama film. Keyword romantic comedy.
Comedy before drama.
I don't think. Okay. I mean, if we're getting down to the technicalities,
I think just because the movie ends on like a kind of sad like drama part doesn't mean that most musicals are like kind of funny. It's whether or not you find comedy in like certain parts. I think it counts personally.
I mean, I wouldn't consider West Side Story a rom-com.
I bet it counts though.
I would count that.
I haven't even seen it. Like IMDb,
because it's a musical.
It's the second thing on IMDb, romantic comedy. Like I don't know how you can't count it, and like just there's too much evidence backing it up.
I mean, if you just Google it, the first two that are romance and musical, but it's fine. All right, next one.
All right, for the second pick, I'm going to take my Oscar nom, get it out of the way. I'm going to take Anora, actually Best Picture winner. I watched this maybe a week and a half ago. I thought it was pretty great. Fun story. I kind of talked to Tyler about this. I feel like the middle of the movie is hilarious, and then the beginning and end is like very serious. So kind of depends again how you want to go about defining rom-com. When I looked it up, I got rom-com under this. But definitely an interesting movie, and I really enjoyed it.
It's definitely one of those films where it like is borderline like on a lot of different like themes and categories, and I think that's why it did so well at the Oscars. Well, we talked about it like last year was kind of like a weaker year compared to this year for Best Picture. I don't think most years this wins. I think Dune 2 probably deserved to win, to be quite honest, even though I really liked Anora. Great performance by Mikey Madison though, like standout performance. I'm looking forward to her because she's going to be in The Social Reckoning this year.
Mm-hmm.
Kind of like the sequel-ish to The Social Network. Have you seen Anora, Madison?
Nah, I never watched it.
I think it definitely counts as a romantic comedy because it's like a dark comedy, even in this like the serious parts to it. But it's just like another one of those. It's not like one of those movies like typical like rom-com movies that you think of, like not like a 50 First Dates, When Harry Met Sally kind of vibe, you know? Awesome. So for my second pick, man, there's so many, but I got to go with like what's up there for me. So I'm going to go with Opposites Attract, and I'm going to go with 10 Things I Hate About You. Could have taken this in ensemble cast because another crazy cast with it. A lot of young actors in this too. Heath Ledger is like one of the main characters, and Joseph Gordon-Levitt is also, or Heath Ledger's kind of just, he's at first like has to meet up with the sister. So the brother or like the guy that's paying him can like end up with the other sister, but then he ends up falling in love even though he's like a bad boy and like she's like a super strict, like doesn't want to fall in love with anybody kind of person. I love this movie though.
I love this movie too. It's one of my favorites. I actually did a
Had a-
sociology project on this movie.
I had a feeling you really liked it. That's why I wanted to pick it before it got back to you.
Yeah. I know. I love this movie.
Awesome. Let's do your
Was it
next
my
pick.
go now?
Yep.
Oh, goodness. Okay, I'm going to go with opposites attract as well, but I'm going to do She's All That. Have you
Okay.
seen that one?
Yeah, I just watched it this week.
Okay. I like that one. You know,
I thought
he's
it was
got like a little
good.
bit going. And she's like the weird nerd girl.
Yeah, I thought it was good, except for like they like it's pointing her out to be like this ugly person, and when she's like drop dead gorgeous, like right at the beginning of the film, and I'm like, all right, what are we doing here? Like,
Yeah.
this is such a '90s
That's the
thing
only
where
thing that
like
got me. I didn't think she
she's
was.
ugly. She's ugly, but it's like no, she isn't.
She wears glasses.
Yeah, she just wears
Yeah,
glasses.
dude, she wears glasses and like has like nasal spray on her.
Yeah, it's like all right. I think they make
I
fun of
really
this
like
in
this
like
one though.
in another. They like do a parody movie based off of this as well with like Chris Evans, I think. Like,
I
a
didn't know
couple
that.
years. Yeah.
I know they just tried to do like a spin-off a couple years of He's All That with Addison Rae, and I don't think that movie did well at all.
That was yeah. But he's just so into you. Like that song has been stuck in my head all week because of that Day movie. They play that song like 10 times in that movie.
Oh, is it
I
my go
should pick
again?
Yep.
I'm gonna go with Ensemble Cast, and I'm gonna do the movie Definitely Maybe with Ryan Reynolds.
Okay.
I don't know if you guys have seen that one. Essentially,
have.
like his daughter is like asking. I think he's going through a divorce, but his like daughter's asking about like his love life, and it kind of flashes back to like 3 different like times he was like with women and kind of that. And he like tells these stories to his daughter and all that because I think if I remember correctly, this is the one where like she wants to know who her mom is, but I could be wrong. But
No,
I
it
like
is.
this one with Ryan Reynolds. Yeah.
She wants to know who her mom, or like, she just wants to know like his love story and all that. But then like, he won't tell her who the mom is. She has to take a guess.
Mhm.
But then she's like, well, I want you to be happy, which I always feel like that's a little weird because like you don't want her to be back with your mom, like your mother. And then he ends up like going back to like his lifelong friend. Interesting. All right. So for my next pick, I'm going to go with Ensemble Cast, and I'm going to go with He's Just Not That Into You because this cast is just kind of insane. Let me look it up to say all the names. Scarlett Johansson, Ben Affleck is in this movie. A second. Yeah, Ben Affleck, Jennifer Aniston, Drew Barrymore, Jennifer Connelly, Bradley Cooper, Jennifer Goodwin, Scarlett Johansson, Chris Christopherson, and Justin Long. Like, it's just a crazy cast. A 2000s rom-com where like one of them's like cheating on each other, one of them like breaks up and then like gets back together. It's one of those classic ones where like each relationship's just all over the place. But I really like it, and a crazy cast as well.
All right. I'm going to take one that Tyler probably thought he could get later, and I'm going to take The Ballad of Wallace Island that you put me onto. I really enjoyed that movie. It was a movie on Amazon Prime, and yeah, it's a fun story about a couple, but they broke up. They made music together for a while, and it was about them kind of finding their love together again. This rich guy pays them to come put on a private show for his wife who passed 5 years ago. It's really funny, and I thought it was a really good, like, small scale story. Nothing too crazy going on, but I enjoyed it.
What
Go
category
ahead,
are you
Matt.
taking this in?
Sorry, I'm taking that in Love Triangle because of her bringing her husband to the island. Go ahead, Matt. You can look it up. It's a rom-com.
No. I just was trying to. I've never heard of it. I know you talked about it, Nora. I just was trying to see what it was.
And then for ensemble cast in a movie, I'm going to take Crazy Stupid Love. I loved every
Yeah.
actor in that when I watched it. I thought it was hilarious. Really funny way to kind of go about a romantic comedy, I think. And yeah, if I can take Ryan Gosling and Emma Stone twice in a draft, I'll do it.
Yeah, I really like Crazy Stupid Love as well. Steve Carell is really good in it as well. And then like the total like final scene kind of thing is like really good as well, where like they all meet up
Yeah.
at the house and then they like tackle each other. It's still like the whole like son and like babysitter and then babysitter into like Steve Carell the dad like vibe to it is like, it's funny, but it's also like, what is going on in this film with like
I
that,
almost
all of
took
that.
it for Love Triangle, but I was like, nah, that's a little disingenuous.
Yeah. If you did that, I'm like, all right, find a different category. Yeah, this was my second pick for ensemble cast. Okay. So next for me, man, this is hard. Okay. Intriguing. Okay. So I'll go from enemies to lovers, and I'll go with How to Lose a Guy in 10 Days.
Okay, Tyler.
Another one that you really liked?
Really taking shots at me here.
Yeah. Yeah, I really like How to Lose a Guy in 10 Days. Matthew McConaughey and Kate Hudson. And like they're both like trying to go against each other of like he's like trying to like get her to love him, and then like she's like trying to do the opposite of like I want him to break up. So I think that's really interesting. Or like they're both trying to get each other to like break up with each other, but then like they actually end up liking each other a lot. Matthew McConaughey is really good in it. This is like right before he like gets himself out of being typecasted as like a rom-com guy. And then Kate Hudson, I mean like Kate Hudson is Kate Hudson, and like bang, like whoa. like anyways.
Stop. Tyler's going to start barking. Matt, go.
Okay. I'm going to do Enemies to Lovers. I'm going to do Through My Window. This is actually a book adaptation. It's actually originally filmed in Spanish. They're actually like in Spain, or they're over there. But I've watched both the Spanish version and like the voiceover version of where they do it in English. This is one of my favorites. It's actually like a trilogy. I've read the books as well. But yeah, it's a good one. It kind of starts off their neighbors, and he keeps like stealing their Wi-Fi. He keeps like stealing her Wi-Fi, even though like they're like insanely rich next door. And they kind of see them like go through things, like he calls her a witch and all this stuff. And like you kind of just, I really like it. If I was watching Fall, but they're pretty sure they're in like high school and stuff.
I don't think I've ever seen this.
And then like throughout the books, you kind of see like their relationships like develop and ups and downs and things like that.
Okay. I may have to check this out because I've never even heard of it, honestly.
And I think all the brothers, they have like god names. Like there's like Apollo, Ares, and there's another brother. But you kind of see all parts of the family as well.
Oh, okay. Awesome. All right. It's your pick again.
Oh, I'm going to go with Meet Cute. Is that how you say that?
Mm-hmm.
And I'm going to do To All the Boys I've Ever Loved. I'm going to assume that's what that means. Again, this is another book and turned into a movie. You know, it kind of follows the main character, like her, and then she ends up fake dating like the really popular guy, and then like all this stuff happens throughout the movie. There's kind of a falling out because they go on like a ski trip and all of that. I like this one as well.
Isn't there like 2 sequels to this?
Yeah, it's a 3-book trilogy and a 3-movie trilogy.
I think I watched the first one, but I didn't watch any of the second one or third one.
I think Jenny Hung wrote these books.
Okay, it's my pick again. Okay, what have I got left? I got Love Triangle, Meet Cute. Okay, I'm gonna go with Meet Cute. I'm gonna take Hitch.
God damn it. I thought I had that one in the bag.
Yeah, I really like Hitch. I think it's really like unique rom-com again. Kevin James, Will Smith, and like I think this definitely counts as like a meet cute. Like they meet like at a bar, like kind of funny situation, but like he like kind of gets her out of a situation, but then he's also like a romantic like setup person, and then like takes her on like a crazy trip. This movie's I haven't watched this in a while, but I really like this movie.
All right, I'm tilting. All right, for Enemies to Lovers, I'm going to take Anyone But You. Tyler, don't start barking. I thought it was a great movie. Really attractive cast. It was really funny. I mean, it was kind of like a really corny rom-com, but obviously they don't really get along after the first time they hook up, and then they go on like a destination wedding. It was kind of fun. And then for Meet Cute, I'm going to take Grease. Could obviously take Grease for a lot of different categories here.
Yeah.
But
I had it for Opposites Attract.
I think Matt's going to kill me for taking another musical.
No, I've never seen it, so I don't technically know. I just don't know if I feel like Anyone But You. I don't know if that, I guess that's Enemies to Lovers, but they kind of weren't enemies at first, and then I guess they did become enemies.
They hated each other. They were sitting there cussing at each other for 45
Not at
minutes in the movie.
first. It's because of what he did.
Yeah.
She didn't like him. They
So
technically
they-
hooked up in the beginning.
Lovers to
They definitely
enemies to lovers.
Yeah.
Yes.
And then,
No.
yeah, give me Grease too.
I've
Yeah.
never seen Grease, but I've heard it's really good.
Grease Lightning, Grease Lightning.
Grease, lightning.
If I was gonna bark at anybody, it'd be Glenn Powell. He's a sexy man.
That's what I'm saying.
He's a really good looking dude. Also, like, it's weird how like there's some like hate on him because he's like really popular, but like He's low-key like a really good actor. Like, I think he's just really good at like finding his kind of roles. Everybody wants some. Highly recommend anybody to check out. Kind of counts as a rom-com as well. But like, dude, he is so good in that movie and like such a standout in that film. We're like, oh wow, and which one?
He's
Top
also
Gun?
in Hitman. That one was good.
Oh yeah,
Dude,
yeah.
get out of here.
You don't like Hitman?
That movie has like a 10% on Rotten Tomatoes.
No, it doesn't really. I thought it wasn't good. Everybody talks about that movie.
Are you sure? I think it has a higher percentage on Tomatoes.
Wait, no, I'm thinking of the other one. Dude, I get all his movies mixed up because he plays the same characters in every one. Hold on, sorry. It was...
Hitman has a 95% on Rotten Tomatoes.
Now, what was the other one he just did?
Running Man?
Yeah, that one did not do well.
It didn't do well?
No, I think...
Maybe that's the one I'm thinking of.
It was like mid at best.
No, I'm thinking of the Hitman's Wife's Bodyguard or whatever that stupid
one has
movie was.
with Ryan Reynolds and Samuel L. Jackson.
Yeah. That one was bad.
Not good.
Sorry.
Yeah.
They're not good. I like watching them.
Talking out my butt.
All right. So you ended with Hitman at or Grease and Meet Cute, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so I got Love Triangle left and Wild Card. Love Triangle is like one of my weaker categories. This is hard. I guess. Fuck it, we ball. I'm gonna go in Love Triangle, and I'm gonna do. I think this is definitely gonna like lose me it, but whatever. I really like it. Materialist. I really like this movie. Some people, yeah, it's gotten some hate just because it's compared to Past Lives because the same person made Past Lives. Past Lives is so adored and loved, but I like it a lot. It has Chris Evans, Dakota Johnson, and Pedro Pascal in it. Where they're fighting with Dakota Johnson, and Dakota Johnson looks so good in this film. Like, it's actually insane.
A lot of people do like this one.
Yeah, I really liked it.
It's on HBO, right?
Yeah, I recommend it just to check it out. There's not much comedy in it, but there is some. Enough, I think. Awesome.
Okay. Is it my turn now?
Your last two picks. Yep.
So I have two movies for Love Triangle, and I don't know which one to go with. They technically both have Reese Witherspoon in them. But if I'm going to go with one I enjoy more, I'm going to go with Sweet Home Alabama for Love Triangle.
That was on my short list. Yeah. I really like Sweet Home Alabama. I actually watched it the first time like a month ago. Thought it was...
Really?
Yeah. Yeah.
They're always playing it on Freeform, like all the time. Whenever they do like their movie runs, like it's always like The Wedding Planner, Monster-in-Law, Sweet Home Alabama, like all those types of movies.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, then like turning down Patrick Swayze, like a rich Patrick Swayze for like a country bumpkin. Bad take. Sorry.
Well, that was technically your husband. Like.
Yeah. But Patrick Swayze, come on now. What are we talking about?
Okay. And then for my last pick, for my wild card, I'm gonna go with Crazy Rich Asians.
Not gonna lie.
I love this movie.
Hot take. I don't really like this movie.
Yep. I kept telling Justin to watch it. I love this movie. I watch it all the time. I actually watched it on the plane coming home from Vegas.
I don't know. It's just for me, it doesn't hit. I think maybe it's a side character for me. What's her name? She's like in a lot of stuff.
Awkwafina.
Yeah, dude, I can't stand her. I don't know. Like her and Shang-Chi. Like,
bro. Amen.
Her and Shang-Chi just like takes away from the film for me.
I knew nothing about it. Mad's like, watch it. So I looked up the cast and I was like, oh, I'm good.
No, you guys are hating because of one character, but it's such a good movie.
Yeah, sure.
Okay.
Well, I would have gave you an extra pick at the end for that one, honestly.
That's why I took it last, because I knew neither one of you were going to take it.
Yeah. For wild card, I feel like I just got to go with my gut because it's like one of my favorites, but I knew you guys wouldn't take it because I don't think you guys have seen it. Forgetting Sarah Marshall.
Haven't seen it.
I really like this movie. It's really funny to me. It has Jason Segel in it. I wish he was in more stuff. He's in Shrinking, which I really like that show. Kristen Bell and Mila Kunis in it, even though I really don't like her acting. I don't know. For some reason, this movie, the comedy in it's really good. Jonah Hill's in it as well. And then as well as Paul Rudd, where Paul Rudd's just playing a bit role, and same with Jonah Hill. And then Russell Brand is also playing a bit role. I don't know. I like this movie a lot. I think it's funny.
Cool. I have to check that one out. I've heard good things.
Yeah. I think it's more comedy than romance, but like, I think it's hilarious.
And is it me last?
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
All right, let me just stir it up real quick. Let me take Poor Things with my wild card.
Whoa.
Look it up. Tyler's
I think it
typing.
counts.
I'm using Letterboxd, so.
Actually, Letterboxd put out an article about why Emma Stone declared it a rom-com.
And just to let you know, the one only says comedy, music, and drama.
Poor Things?
No, the Wallace Island one.
Tyler, is that movie not about a love story?
It's about a love story.
Multiple love stories.
Yeah, I would take it. I mean,
Ugh.
I feel like when people looking at this graphic are either going to vote one of two ways. They're going to be like, oh, because they're going to be like, look at Madison and mine to be like, those are more typical rom-com movies. And then they're going to look at yours and like either be like, oh, okay, those are like critically better movies, but like not typical rom-coms. You know what I'm saying? But
Yeah,
even though
I
I
feel
think
you.
they still count. Yeah.
Yeah. I think that's what I was thinking of the whole time. I was like, Tyler and I's like are completely different. Justin's are like,
Yeah. But it's
ours
like,
are like, yeah,
I think they
these
still
are the ones
count.
everybody's seen.
yeah.
Yeah,
I'm a
I
rebel
think they
against
it
the
does.
system.
Yeah.
Well,
I think
have
it still
fantasy
counts.
comedy,
Poor Things.
but
Look up the article.
Yeah.
I just
Okay,
found an
you can
article
take it.
saying Emma Stone stated it is a rom-com on IMDb.
I think
okay,
it still
Emma Stone
counts.
lover.
Yeah.
Dang, I
He's
did
got
take her
3 of
3
them.
times.
Yeah, you did.
Can I take Begonia too?
No.
Hell no.
Jesus.
Easy A is like actually like a rom-com though. Easy
Yes.
I
A.
just
I've
haven't seen it.
in Easy A.
Or an Amazing Spider-Man or Amazing Spider-Man 2 when she dies. Spoiler alert. All right.
Whiplash.
Do we want to do honorable mentions?
Yeah, I've got
Yeah,
a list.
I was thinking about taking challengers for Love Triangle, but I didn't know how that'd go over.
Oh, I had that on my list. That definitely counts.
Okay.
Yeah, that
That's
counts.
100% a rom-com. Just a weird
Yeah.
ass movie. Some freaks. I swear, right
Wait,
after
was
that
that-
tennis match, they definitely have a threesome.
Yeah.
Agreed.
Was that your
Yeah.
last? Wait, Justin, did you take your last pick or did I miss that?
Yeah, I took
Yes.
Poor Things.
Okay, I thought you had
Yeah.
another one. I don't know why.
Well, like, let's say our teams before we do honorable mentions.
Okay.
Okay, I'll go first. For Oscar nomination, I had Silver Lining Playbook. For Opposites Attract, I had She's All That. For Love Triangle, I have Sweet Home Alabama. For Ensemble Cast, I have Definitely Maybe. Enemies to Lovers, I have Through My Window. For Meet Cute, I have To All the Boys I've Ever Loved. And my wild card was Crazy Rich Asians.
Yeah, my list is very rebellious against the genre. So Oscar nom, I took Anora. Opposites Attract, I took La La Land. Love Triangle, I took The Ballad of Wallace Island. Ensemble Cast in a Movie, I took Crazy Stupid Love. Enemies to Lovers, I took Anyone But You. And Meet Cute, I took Grease. And Wildcard, I took Poor Things.
For my Oscar nom, I took When Harry Met Sally, Opposites Attract, 10 Things I Hate About You, Love Triangle, Materialist, Enemies to Lovers, How to Lose a Guy in 10 Days, Meet Cute, Itch, Ensemble Cast, He's Just Not That Into You, and Wildcard, Forgetting Sarah Marshall. I feel like on TikTok, Justin may get hated on.
That's
Just
fine.
be
Yeah.
like, yeah.
I mean, but the problem is he hasn't seen, like, there's so many iconic rom-coms and he's like, never seen it. I'm just
Yeah.
like, because
I took
you won't
like,
watch them
straight up-
because they're not like, no hate, nothing against it. I just know you
Grease
won't,
is like
you
a
won't
pretty
want to watch
iconic
them.
one, I feel like.
Grease is
Grease is
iconic.
like-
Crazy Stupid Love is like your stereotypical rom-com.
Yeah.
Anyone But You is one too.
The other
But
four are
more of
just-
like the ones everybody else is really seeing.
Justin, you got any more honorable mentions that you wanted to say?
Yeah, I had some other ones on here, but I didn't want to take bad movies over good ones. So No Hard Feelings, that movie sucked.
Yeah.
Blended was pretty good. I just didn't get around to it. Just Go With It was pretty good. And Fool's Gold is just, Kate Hudson and Matthew McConaughey doing it again.
Run it back.
Run it back.
Kate Hudson. Heck yeah.
I had so many.
Oof.
I had like Bridesmaids, Shakespeare in Love, The Ugly Truth, Flip, The Proposal, This Means War, The Wedding Planner. I had the Adam Sandler ones too, like Just Go With It and Blended.
Yeah. Yeah. Adam Sandler has like 6 of them, I feel like. Adam Sandler has so many. I'm surprised one of them wasn't picked, honestly. All right. So The Big Sick, I'm surprised wasn't picked. I guess.
Shit.
Didn't. Yeah. I almost did. Like, it was probably going to be my next pick if we had like an 8th one to pick. Pretty Woman, another iconic one. Jerry Maguire also technically counts. Those are all just for Oscar noms. Opposites Attract. I had She's Out of My League. Beauty and the Beast. I think that technically counts.
Yes.
Clueless, also a very iconic one. Along Came Polly, also one of my favorites. Dude, Ben Stiller, Jennifer Aniston, really funny movie. Love Triangle, I had Something Borrowed. Ensemble cast, I had Knocked Up. Love Actually, another very iconic one. Love Actually is. Midnight in Paris, another iconic one. Bridesmaids, Enemies to Lovers. I had The Proposal, Dirty Dancing, Palm Springs, and You've Got Mail. Meet Cute, I had 50 First Dates and Sleepless in Seattle, which I just watched this past week and I really liked, but they didn't actually meet until the very end, which, again, not a very common thing in a rom-com. Yeah, awesome. Well, thanks for coming on, Madison. Hopefully you had some fun talking about some rom-coms.
Yep. Thanks for having me.
Well, thanks for listening, you all. See you next week.